knowledge building absolutely requires deep learning and integrative thinking. So it would not be knowledge building without them. So they're absolutely fundamental. So are a great complex of other capabilities that allow people to operate as knowledge creators. So the things that additionally are taking risks with ideas, being able to have a sense of promise, a sense of direction, being able to be very grounded and realize when you're making progress, when you're not making progress. So the entire complex array presumes deep learning, it presumes integrative thinking, but it also requires many other kinds of complex interactions with people and ideas. So knowledge building is trying to identify ways of interacting that engage you in that entire complex, of which deep learning and integrative thinking are absolutely critical. So is inquiry, but so are lots of other kinds of interactions that really define how people who work dynamically with ideas continually engage. All inquiry is not created equal. So if you think about it on a continuum, the continuum at one end has student-driven inquiry and fixed phase models that the students learn. We ask our questions, we search for answers, we go deeper, and then that has a cycle. Now, if you went into a knowledge-creating enterprise, you would not find a fixed phase model. You would certainly find lots of questions, but you would find a lot of other things too. You would find that they're coping with wicked problems. They are trying to sort out what are the promising ideas in all of this mass of ideas. They would be dealing with great complexity of ideas, more than they could hold in mind at any certain point in time. You would find that they were coping with lots of failure. Like, you would find such a complex process over and above the kinds of inquiry models that we see when they're really radically simplified for school, that they would look like two completely different frameworks for how people are engaged in what they're doing with one another. I think the notion that it has been thought that the true complex process is too difficult, so we should very much add parts of that process onto school, but we should not literally change schools in the image of this more complex process, so that school would be more the preparation for the complex process that would happen much later. I think what we're showing is that complex process can be engaged from the earliest years of schooling. Students can engage in that complex process. They can actually make significant advances and work very productively. Our technologies can help to make the distance between their work and the work that's going on in the broader world seamless. So I think that the notion that there's demonstration of a possibility of reconstructing schools in the image of knowledge-creating organizations is starting to make a difference. I think the other thing is you've got to believe that kids can do it. And if you don't believe it, you just don't give the room for it. I think as more teacher voices are talking about believing was seeing, and the more they cultivated it, the more it happened, starts to get a sense of a different kind of energy and possibility. So I think that's what's helping to make a difference. And There's also, there's interesting literature that says that a lot of the skill teaching that is an alternative to this. It takes a skill, and then one by one, we try to tackle these skills. So we have creative problem solving, we have innovation, we have deep understanding, we have integrative thinking, we have, a list of 20 different things that students are to become good at. But what if, in fact, by engaging them, they engaged in all of those things as part of the way they interact with ideas, with the world, with other people? So it's just integral to how they are operating. You might get all, and that's what knowledge building is actually providing the demonstration for. It's a much more holistic approach to all of these skills that mean we don't need to teach them all separately. We create the environments that bring them all to life.